Hey everybody, today we're going to look at Money Matters, page 20 to 23. I'm going to explain some of the ideas, go through the questions that you did for homework last time, and then give you some homework so that we can finish this first chapter in the textbook. Remember, this first chapter was looking at America during the 1920s, from 1919 at the end of World War I, all the way up to 1929, and these were the boom years. These were the times that the economy was growing and growing and growing. In chapter 2, we're going to start to look at the bust, when the economy started to go down. And we'll start to look at that next week. So let's get this chapter 1 finished. So last time I sent you some questions from page 20. What was prohibition? Prohibition was basically the ban or the outlawing or the making illegal of the sale and production of alcohol in the United States. People were not allowed to make or sell alcohol anywhere in America. Why did it begin? Well, there was a lot of lobbying. Lobbying means pressure on the government, people trying to change the government. There was a lot of lobbying from groups like the Women's Christian Temperance Movement and the Anti-Saloon League, who argued that alcohol was morally wrong. They said that alcohol caused men to become abusive and to hurt their families, to spend money on their drinking instead of taking care of their families and buying food. It made them get angry, become violent, and so it said that it broke up families and led to moral corruption. Was prohibition popular? No. By 1920, there were around 250,000 illegal bars, and many officers in the Special Anti-Alcohol Police were fired for corruption. 250,000 illegal bars in the whole country, because millions of people in America would not follow the law. They still wanted to drink. And even that special organization, that special bureau, the Prohibition Bureau of police officers trying to stop alcohol, 10% of them were fired because they were corruption. They were taking money from the criminal gangs. So no, this was not a popular law, and it was not followed by many people in America. What negative consequences were there? Well, more people were willing to break the law. People that might not break the law otherwise became criminals. There was a rise in the number of gangs who realized that they could sell alcohol illegally and make high profits. And there was also a rise in people making their own alcohol. Sometimes this was very poor quality. They might go blind, or sometimes they might even die. And when and why did it end? Well, it ended in 1933 when President Roosevelt encouraged Congress to repeal the amendment. So they made a new amendment which cancelled the ban, the prohibition. And President Roosevelt announced this to the whole country by saying, let's all go and get a drink. Hopefully you got all those questions right. If there's any detail that you missed, pause the video, write down the details. It's useful for you to have it in your exercise book. Now, this poster is propaganda. Propaganda means one group or one party is trying to change the opinion or the idea of somebody else. So what does the source show? Well, first, we can see a woman and a baby. And so this picture of the woman and the baby is going to appeal to people's hearts. It's going to be an emotional appeal. There's different types of evidence. Sometimes people use percentages, statistics, to try and persuade people that what they're saying is accurate. Sometimes people quote professors from universities or international organizations to try and make people believe that what they're saying is accurate. But sometimes people use pictures that will make an effect or an impact on people's hearts. By showing a mother and a baby, this poster is appealing to people's hearts. It is going to the emotion. It says, help me to keep him pure. That means help the mother to take care of the baby morally, to make sure the baby grows up in a good way. At the bottom it says, please vote against the sale of liquors. Please stop alcohol sales. So the poster is linking the well-being of the child, the ability of the mother to take care of the child, to the banning of alcohol. So the poster is saying that these two things are connected. If you ban alcohol, women can take care of babies. So how is this persuading people? It's trying to persuade people to protect young children and babies. It's trying to persuade them to vote against selling, making alcohol by thinking about the effect that alcohol has on young babies, on the next generation. Lesson 9, starting on page 21, is about organized crime. In selling something illegal, there are always large profits. If alcohol is legal, then there is a large amount available and so the prices are lower. But if you ban it, then there is less supply and so the prices rise. This is just supply and demand. So whenever something is legal, whenever you can buy anywhere, the prices will be lower. But as soon as you make something illegal, as soon as you limit where people can buy something, then the price will rise because there will not be enough for everybody and it will be difficult to get. So this idea is supply and demand. The high profit margins associated with bootlegging. Bootlegging was illegally bringing alcohol from other countries like Mexico and Canada. So the high profits that people got from bringing in alcohol quickly attracted the attention of the crime world. So the high profits attracted many gangs. Rival gangs fought to control the supply and the territory within a city. Gangland murders increased. In Chicago, 227 people were murdered in 4 years without a single conviction. The police never found out who did it. The police never arrested anybody for these crimes. In 1929, in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Al Capone's men killed 7 of Bugs Moran's gang. The gangs also controlled drugs, prostitution, that's the illegal sex trade, and protection rackets. That's saying, if you give me money every month, nothing will happen to your business. We will keep you safe. But if you do not give us money, then something bad might happen to your business. Often, the police and the judges were paid to keep them quiet and prevent too much attention. Now, go and read page 21. There's more information there about Al Capone. In summary, he was an Italian immigrant who rose to control a large gang in Chicago. He used corruption to bribe the police, and he was never arrested for killing people. The only thing that the police could arrest him for was not paying taxes. And he was sent to prison for 11 years for not paying his tax. Life in the Boom. These ideas are taken from page 23. Life in the Boom saw life change for many people, especially the richer people. This page is really talking about the wealthy, those that had extra money, and they could spend their money on luxury goods. So Americans wanted to enjoy themselves. They might listen to the new type of music, the jazz music, or they might do new dances like the Charleston and the Black Bottom. Crowds would go and watch films with stars like Charlie Chaplin. This was the first time that there would be movies. Before that, there would only be radio. They might go and see baseball stars like Babe Ruth. There was an emphasis on having fun, and spending money led to the 1920s being called the Roaring Twenties. Many also tried to be trendy. Trendy means fashionable, by dressing in the latest styles. The main fashion trend for women was being a flapper, which meant they had their hair cut short, maybe looking like a primary school or middle school student in Thailand.
and it was bobbed, so it was cut in a straight line around their neckline or ear line. And they wanted to have a flat chest, so they would wear special bras that would hold their breast closer to their chest, so it would look more like a man. This was just fashionable at the time. They would also wear dresses to the knee, and before this they used to wear dresses all the way to their ankles. So this was a big change. This was like freedom, liberation for them. Lots of things happened for women in the 1920s. During World War One, women had been working in the factories, and after the war, America generally felt very grateful for the way that women had helped. Because so many women had worked in the factories, many men could go and fight in the army, and they hadn't had a problem with employment. Also during the war, they stopped protesting and asking for the right to vote. They thought, the women generally said that they would help as much as possible during the war, and then they would continue to ask later. They had wanted the right to vote for many years. They'd been protesting since the 1860s. And in 1920, partly in recognition of how they had helped during World War I, the 19th Amendment was passed, giving women the right to vote. Now, while some women enjoyed their freedom, and you can see them drinking, smoking, partying in the pictures on page 23, many women still had traditional roles in the home, and especially the poorer women. The poorer women didn't have extra money to go out drinking and enjoying themselves. This was mostly the richer women who had extra money or lived off their wealthy husbands. We've gone through these pages quite quickly. These are often not going to be coming up too much in your exam. The main point actually that could come up in your exam is about that 19th Amendment. Now, I would like you to go to page 22 and complete question 1 to 4 about prohibition and gangs. Then, I want you to make a graph, and after you make the graph, answer questions 1 to 3. After you make your graph, if you want to show me, take a picture on your phone and send me in Messenger, and I'll give you some feedback. You can do that before you answer the questions. And then on page 23, I want you to answer question 1 to 8, all of the questions. Next week, we'll go through all of those questions, and then that will be the end of lesson 1. We'll start lesson 2, which will look at the Great Depression, when the economy went down.